Welcome to the Gals Guide podcast. Join us on an adventure to get to know famous and infamous women from around the world. Each of our presenters has a pick. Is she ancient history? Is she breaking news? Is she safe for work? Well, that's up to each presenter. All we know is that...
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Welcome back. I'm Leah, and I am joined by Katie and Bonnie and Amy, and we are spending a year focusing on personal and collective well-being by learning from women of history. This month's theme is Nourishment and the Table, and Bonnie already talked about Claire Saffett, and Amy talked about Alexis Nicole Nelson, and Katie talked about Leah Chase. Look at that. So before I share my pick, I wanted to ask a question about well-being. And I wanted to know, what is your favorite place to eat where you feel emotional nourishment as well as a great plate of food? Right? Nourishment on a couple of levels. Favorite place. Cheers, where everybody knows your name.
Oh, man. That's a great question.
It's also a hard one. I
That's a great stall, isn't it?
It
what
is.
A great question.
As the brain goes, what?
Well, I guess I would say where I feel really good while eating and after eating would be 9th Street Bistro here in Noblesville.
Oh, they're very good. Yes.
They're very good because they're just such kind, genuine people.
Yeah.
They put a lot of thought and care into their food, and it's always very interesting and good and mindful. And they're so kind with how they talk to you and about their food and like just the whole experience. And of course, it's not rushed because that's not their purpose. They're here to they're foodies too.
Right.
So let's tell you about where we got this, and we grew this part of it here ourselves, and
we just found this really great supply of this, and we wanted to make a whole thing around it. Yeah.
And since I too really like to cook, that's kind of the experience that feels good to me when I'm going out.
Exactly. I love that. 9th Street Bistro, shout out. Yes.
Yeah. Now, can I afford to eat there more than once or twice a year? And it's no fault of their own because, they are masters at what they do. But I cherish the time I see them once, maybe twice a year.
Yeah, that's
quality.
Totally, it's a special treat.
It is a special treat.
Exactly. Dun, dun, dun. Does Amy or
I
Bonnie
can
have
go.
one?
I thought of mine.
Yes. You were panicking a little bit.
I was panicking a little bit, but then all of a sudden, when I was going downstairs to refill my wine glass,
like you do,
it came to me in a flash. Mine is the Trojan Horse in Bloomington.
Ooh.
It's right on the strip on Kirkwood. It's a Greek restaurant, obviously. And I've been going there since the 80s.
There you go.
So we aren't going to do that math, but it's mathing.
Right. Yes. It was, just a few days ago.
20 years ago.
It was yesterday.
Yes.
But yes, I started going there in college in the 80s. And then after I graduated, I actually stayed in Bloomington and got a job. I worked at the Monroe County Library, which is right across the street from Trojan Horse.
Convenient.
Yes. And I went there a lot of times for lunch. And we also went there for drinking.
Yes.
We played numerous games of Sink the Biz up in the upstairs bar room. And I just feel like I know every inch of that restaurant. And I hadn't been there in years. I mean, easily over a decade. And when my son was looking at colleges, that's where we ate when we did our IU tour. And the minute I walked in there, I knew every inch of that place. I knew every piece of graffiti that was carved into things. I went upstairs to the teeny tiny ladies' room and just remembered all of the all of the times that I was trying to deal with things in the teeny tiny stall up there.
Right.
I remembered everything. And the playlist that they had, I don't know, they were playing all this 80s music. I'm sitting there, I'm eating the same gyro that I've had 100 times. Mm-hmm. And they're playing Echo and the Bunnymen. And it was just like I stepped into a time machine. And I'm sitting there with my son, and he is loving the food and loving the vibe. And it was so awesome. And I just felt amazing. So I am having that as my pick.
Yes. Nice. Perfect. Yes.
A lot of memories there.
Fantastic. Buddy, what about you?
I don't think I really have one. I have places that I go out of habit, and I'll have places, they're like, oh, where do you want to eat? And they'll list off places, and I'll be like, yes. But, I'm not really sure that I get that, comfort out in, public. I definitely, curl up on the couch in a blanket, eating ice cream or whatever, that's, food and comfort. But, not really... if I've got my bra on, I'm not really sure I'm all that comfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
There's not a restaurant that's also got that holdingness, that supportiveness.
Is there a food you most want on the couch to be at your optimal most comfort, like you want to bring home and have?
Right. Not really.
What's your DoorDash order?
For a long time, we were doing Portillo's almost every Sunday. It was kind of a joke.
Bingo.
So sometimes we would either go there on our way to go run errands, or we would DoorDash it in. If we didn't, so it was kind of a joke. We were like, "What do you want to have on Sunday for lunch?" It was like Portillo's. We were doing that.
That's what we always have when we storm the castle.
My friend's dachshund is named Portillo.
Oh, there you go. Dorkable. Goodness. I have two. One that I haven't done in 10 years, so it kind of feels like cheating. In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out Burger. I lived in Los Angeles, and In-N-Out Burger was absolutely my favorite. Part of it was you would go to the drive-thru, and they would start with, "How are you doing today?" Generally asking. That was part of their thing. They generally asked how you were doing. Everybody in LA didn't give a shit how you were. Any other place but In-N-Out Burger drive-thru. And they said, "Are you going to be eating that in the car today?" Because they basically would give it to you instead of a bag in a little tray so that you could eat it. But so it felt like it was the only nice place fucking in LA that I could afford. You know what I mean? Yeah. So anytime I go to LA or any place with In-N-Out Burger, which is generally just a couple of states, I have it. I love the toasted bun. It just makes me feel like I'm being taken care of. But I also know it's just fast food. So when it comes to either birthday dinner or celebration dinner or whatever, to have that comfort, it's always been Olive Garden. And it was Olive Garden because I couldn't afford it. So when it was my birthday, you know what I mean? And stuff like that, I'd be like, "Ooh, take me to Olive Garden," because I can't afford to go there on my own. And so it felt like I was being taken care of, and just but lately I can afford Olive Garden now, not every day. Yeah. But if I see a freaking Olive Garden commercial, it is 7 layers susceptible. I see that chicken Alfredo, and I'm like, we have to go to Olive Garden. I see those breadsticks, and I'm like, I need to be in that sauce and that bread. So now it's calls to me, and once I see that commercial, it's we'll be at Olive Garden within the next couple of weeks. So yeah, so In-N-Out Burger and Olive Garden for different reasons.
How far How far out west does In-N-Out Burger go? Because I know it's in California and it's
Arizona.
In Texas.
I think it's only Arizona. Yeah. I mean California and only Arizona.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Whataburger.
Yeah, Whataburger goes into Texas. Yeah, not as good.
I have somewhere that I get food from when I'm sad.
Yeah.
But it's not comfort. I want it to make me happy, but it never works.
Oh, yeah. What is it?
Oh, it's the appetizer combo from Applebee's.
There you go.
Oh, no.
Right? I know. It's the sad food. Yeah.
It is.
Minus
It used
Burger
to
King
You
is
be-
my
gotta
fast
get
food.
those Southwestern egg rolls from the Chili's. The Chili's egg
where the
rolls and
happiness is.
Chili salsa.
Whole new sadness.
Better salsa than chili salsa.
I'm
No
looking in the
chili
wrong place for happiness.
Oh.
You know what? Mix it up. Just, you know what I mean? Like, you can get your sad at different places.
Yeah.
Rotate that shit out.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
love it.
I've always felt like the cure for depression would be fried food, but I've
Or
done a
ice
lot
cream.
of research,
Yeah.
and so far, it's not working.
You keep
It's
doing
peanut
that
butter
research.
Jelly, I promise.
Okay.
I like it. Yep, this is very true. Well, do you want to hear who I have for
Yes.
you?
Absolutely.
So my pick actually comes to you because of one of the Gals Guide patrons, one of our supporters, one of our very early donors, one of our early library card signups, and also one of the early messages that I got a best of luck when I announced the Gals Guide move into Minnesota. So believe it or not, this person is a he. Tony Vasquez has been one of our most wonderful supporters, and he emailed me asking if he could mail me a DVD. And so he said it was a documentary about a vegetarian, this is his words, vegetarian, lesbian-owned friendly bookstore that once held a small show of my wife's paintings years ago, and often did so for painters and quilters and jewelers, that's the word, etc. Their excellent food was locally sourced when possible, and sometimes from their own back garden. So I absolutely said yes. I'm like, send me this documentary. I would be absolutely honored to add it to the collection. And he responded by saying, you and Selma Miriam are two women whose work I admire, and I'm pleased to support the visions of both of you in this one act. I think her story will be happy in your care and share it well. So that's what I'm doing.
That's fantastic.
Right? So, I mean, I immediately read up on Selma. I'm like, okay, if Tony's writing this super, super sweet email and wanted to send me this documentary, which is called The Culinary Uprising, The Story of Bloodroot. That is the name of the documentary. Oh, Amy's already, you know what I'm talking about, don't you?
I don't. I'm loving it.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. There you go. Yes. Yes. So I read up, I watched the documentary that Tony sent, and definitely the world is better because Selma was in it. She's a wonderful example of nourishment and the table. She created spaces for well-being that help so many women's lives. And I'm truly excited to talk about her feminist vegetarian restaurant and bookstore that was in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And of course, a big shout out to Tony as well. So I'll start with Selma's life, and I won't go all the way to the backs. I'll start in 1961 of her story, around the age of 26. She described herself at this time as a mama with two kids. Like, that was her description of herself, was a mama with two kids. But she was also a landscape designer with the very famous Connecticut garden artist Eloise Ray. And a fun fact about Selma, both of her parents marched in the suffragette campaigns in New York. So she came from, feminist stuff, feminist genes, feminist DNA. So then the 70s happened and Selma got involved with the women's movement. She went to consciousness awareness meetings. She went to NOW meetings, and she met like-minded women like photographer Noelle Fury. And Selma wanted to create a place where women could come and connect, where they could talk about women's history and they could talk about food issues. So they first met in Selma's house, and they started calling their group the Bloodroot Collective. Now, Selma has two favorite flowers. The first is the trout lily, and the second is the bloodroot. And she wanted to name the group after something from the earth, something grounded, right? And she said in the documentary, I wasn't going to call it trout lily. So she would mention that the name was Bloodroot Collective, and then people started to be like, ew, you mean like menstrual blood? And she says, I just got stubborn with it. The more it upset people, the more she's like, yeah, this is the frickin' name. I'm calling it the Bloodroot. So the collective, they knew a lot of women's bookstores were starting in the 70s, but someone liked to cook. So they thought bookstore and restaurant. and they didn't really think long term about it. They did not think it would last as long as it actually did. So it was 1977. And it wasn't illegal for women to get a mortgage without a man's signature, but it was a struggle for Selma because she was going around town and having a hard time getting somebody, even though she had $19,000 that she had saved up from her job as landscaping, as well as $20,000 from her mom, just getting a mortgage because at the time she was a single woman.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So again,
More
wasn't
money
illegal
than I've ever had in life.
I know, right? Exactly. Yes. And still somebody saying no to you?
And that's in older
1977 money. Yeah. That's a lot of money in 77 money. She did eventually find a place in Bridgeport, and she did get a bank to let her have a mortgage. The place she got in Bridgeport, the furnace didn't work. The windows were missing glass. But it was on the water, and it was the start of something important. So the Bloodroot Feminist Restaurant and Bookstore opened in March of 1977, the same month and year that I was born, by the way. So Selma and Noelle would join partnership. They would leave their husbands, they would raise their kids, and they would create their version of lived feminism. So it was a place where food could be a vehicle for cultural issues, for political issues, to explore feminism and what that meant to them. They're very specific in the documentary of, look, this isn't the same feminism as everybody else. This is ours. We're finding it, we're molding it, we're testing it to be able to live in it. They wanted to be mindful of all of the choices that they made. They said this in the documentary, and I love it. It's not that we just wanted a piece of the pie. We wanted a whole new recipe altogether. We wanted a feminist system. It was more about complete change. And I love how it ties into recipe. So at their restaurant, they don't have servers. They didn't have waiters or waitresses. You would go to the counter, you would order your thing, and then they'd shout your name. You go pick up your stuff. At one point, you washed your own damn dishes.
Oh, hell yeah.
So they didn't have a front of the house. They didn't have a back of the house, right? They didn't even have a digital POS system because they had a calculator and they wrote it all down with paper and pencil. Again, they just get stubborn with it, and I think it's adorable. They also had signs all over the place, including bumper stickers, that you can't use the word guys. The sign said guys are men and women are women. And so you couldn't say, hey, guys. They'd be like, women are women. And they would adorably yell at you for it. It was very cute. The food had to be vegetarian. That was very much one of their rules. But it was a lot of times vegan as well. The food also had a rule to be diverse. It needed to have respect for different cultures. And Selma was a genius when it came to cooking and baking. She reminds me of a little Katie, especially because she loved experimentation and she loved the idea of she had she had a bagel and she's like, I want some kind of creaminess on this. And she's like, I'm going to figure out a way to make this vegan. And it was she just kept, finding something until it had that feel that she was looking for. And she would spend hours in the kitchen just finding it. And she really was very joyful of that. She would also grow her own food. She talked specifically about cucumbers and blueberries in the documentary. And both of them are like a life lesson within her own sharing. So her talking about food made me hungry, but also that love, that care that she put into, each little ingredient that she put into stuff was so lovely. Noelle Fury became the co-owner after years of washing the dishes, is what she says. And then also like-minded support and creativity. There were things that only Selma could do, and then there were things that only Noelle could do. So they worked off of each other very, very well. Selma talked about food in this interconnected way. She didn't want prepackaged food. She said, quote, to taste each other's food, to learn each other's food, such a good thing to feed yourself and feed others you care about, to give it to people, to talk about it. So, like, trying a new food, if it was in a package, she wasn't interested. She wanted to get it from the source. She's like, tell me about it. How is it made? What does it mean to you? Like, she wanted to know the whole context and whole story behind food. And something about that core belief in food then created a space where women were nourished at the center. It was just like another layer to this like well-being of nourishment at the table too. So these two women, I swear to God, if it helps you, they are an embodiment of Thelma and Louise. Like if Thelma and Louise, like if that car like landed safely and they went into like a witness protection program, it would be Selma and Noelle.
Brad Pitt had stolen their money.
Exactly. Yes. That would be, they would take that money and they would open a restaurant. Yes. Say what?
Oh, I said he's so handsome, though.
I know, exactly. Especially in 1992, Thelma and Louise.
Oh,
yes.
Hell yeah.
Exactly. Well, so both Selma and Noelle were lesbians as well. A lot of their customers were. So they would have women's only nights for safety. Because again, this is the 70s and 80s. So Bloodroot also had events. They had feminist authors who would come and do readings. They had workshops. Witch came, WITCH. What is it? The Women's International Terrorist Conspiracy from Hell. This is one of my favorite feminist groups. We talked about them in Popcorn Gals. There's a documentary called She's Beautiful When She's Angry. The tiny sidebar, the Witch have a little slogan that they do. They say, knowledge is power, thought which you control, our mind, our spirit, our bodies, our soul. Hex. They would always say this at protests. And I just, the little hex.
Nice.
Witches. They came. The restaurant also had pictures of women all over the walls. They were pictures of them as children. They were pictures of their mothers. They were pictures of their grandmothers. One woman talked about the picture that she hung in the restaurant was her aunt, and it was her aunt that passed down the gay gene.
No.
She's like, that's my big gay aunt. And she just had it hanging on the wall. And I'm like, I love that. So their place was about food and fun and feminism. And Selma was a people person who needed to be around people. In the documentary, you see her on a Sunday. She's not having it. She's like, I don't know what to do. I just need my people. Why is there Sundays? Why is there a day that we're closed? But they talked about, both Selma and Noelle talked about how it would all end because they got much, much older. They talked about how they hoped they would both drop dead on the same day inside the restaurant. That was best case scenario that they were hoping for. And they said, there's nobody who's crazy enough to do this. It's too hard and it's too much work. So this documentarian asked both of them, well, what do you think your legacy will be? Because in this documentary, they are much older. They are in their 60s and 80s. And Noelle said what she wanted her legacy to be is that you loved your meal. And Selma said, don't do what you think other people will want you to do. Do what you believe in. That's what they wanted their legacy to do. They both also just they hoped they were a good example for other women. And they really, really were. And they really, really did that. And it's very much showcased not only with the people that talk about them or the articles that came out about them that I read. But Selma was just 2 weeks shy of her 90th birthday. She was almost to 90 when she passed away. And it was February 2nd, 2025. So it wasn't really that long ago. Yeah. The restaurant then closed down December 20th, 2025. So that also wasn't that long ago. They're also actually having some auction items, I believe. No, it's by the time this airs, it'll have already passed. They were doing some auction items to have people have a piece of Bloodroot. but the restaurant was open for 48 years. That's pretty good for a restaurant, because isn't restaurant still like a 50-50 shot in the first year of whether or not a restaurant will survive?
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's very rare to actually last that long. So Noelle Fury, who is still with us, she said after Selma's passing, quote, "For the moment, I have no other words to share except to say that I am one incredibly lucky woman to have been part of Selma's life." So I encourage everybody to seek out the documentary, A Culinary Uprising, The Story of Bloodroot. It is touring festivals, so you might have a film festival that might show it. And then because at this time of this recording, they are doing film festivals around there. But you can also buy it on their website, culinaryuprisingfilm.com. This is not necessarily one that you will see on streaming for a bit because it's doing its festival run. So buying the DVD, I know this as an old retired filmmaker, it helps the filmmakers, it helps the movie. It's a beautiful story, and I'm honestly just scratching the surface of it for you. So so I highly recommend learning more about Selma, Miriam, and the Bloodroot restaurant. Have any of you heard of it before?
I had not.
Oh, there you go. Connecticut's best kept secret? I'm thinking it's just, we're not New Englanders, so there's part of that.
I would totally eat at a restaurant called Bloodroot, though.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah, I'm down.
Their website still has their last menu on it.
It does.
No.
It does. It's like they don't want to take it down, or they don't know how.
Looks so delicious.
Doesn't it? Exactly. And they had some of the ladies who were making the dishes are looking to, not necessarily start their own place, but they might start their own place. You know what I mean? They are looking for employment in other spots. So there's a wonderful Jamaican lady who makes delicious food in the Ethiopian cuisine. And it's just like, So there's the potential of the ripples still to spread in different ways. And so I wish
offshoots of the roots.
Exactly. There is that glorious hope. If nothing else, the time that they had together was wonderfully special. So, yay! So that's who I had for you. So thanks to Tony. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known. Right. Dun, dun, dun. You guys want me to wrap it up for the month?
Well, yeah, because now I'm menu reading.
I know, right? Exactly. Yeah. Now you're like, what could you could make so many of these things, Katie. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Like, yes.
Jamaican jerk chicken, tofu, and seitan with coconut rice, sweet potato, and avocado.
Yeah, they showed that one specifically on the. Oh, it looked delicious through the screen.
Vegan ice creams, coffee with optional toasted almonds. I'll eat that.
That was Selma's big work, was trying to get vegan ice cream. You know what I mean? To get that consistency and flavor.
Okay.
Yep. Deliciousness.
That's awesome.
Sweet. Well, while you guys look at a menu, I will wrap us up for the month. So that wraps us up for Nourishment at the Table month. Please continue to keep eating, everybody. Join us next month as we learn about movement and joy in the body. Thanks for listening. That's another woven thread into our personal and collective well-being tapestry. If you loved learning about women's history or are looking for some self-care, discover even more community and care at galsguide.org. Until next time, keep sharing women's stories.